Hello everybody, this is Joe, aka Maniac for Bricks, or Joe the Maniac. I'm here today with my card collection binder. This is a large binder that has all kinds of different series of cards in it, and currently I'm on vacation, but I thought I'd have some time to take care of this little video as a collect-a-thon for YouTube. And basically, there's all different kinds of card collections in here. There are still plenty of other cards I have not put in here yet, so it's likely to have some updates in the future. So let's take a closer look at what we have. There are cards on the other, on this insert and on the back one that haven't really been organized yet. I don't even know if I'm gonna fit all these in here. These I don't really care too much for. There were some here for Legends of Chima, which I did move to another book along with the Lego Ninjago cards, but again, that binder is elsewhere. So for right now, here's a look at what I have. This is the Lego Knights Kingdom cards from the first run of it, the Knights Kingdom 2 that is, not to be confused with Knights Kingdom 1. This was around 2004 if I remember correctly, and I have almost all of the cards in this entire first wave. There are a few missing here and there, like there's one missing on this side, might be a few others missing about, but most of the ones from the first series of those cards I do have in here. I'm happy to have them. I probably have the others elsewhere, and if not, I could probably find them online pretty cheap. So that series went up to 80, and then the series 2 continued from 81 onwards. I didn't really get a lot of the sets, or even in the magazines they didn't have a lot of the cards, so I didn't really bother with adding in all those and even putting, you know, the proper spacing of numbers between them. So there's only a couple in here. But they're nice to collect, and they have some nice story elements and great artwork on them. Next series we have is a relatively, like actually a couple of short ones. Lego Galador had a small series of cards, mainly through the Lego magazine, if I remember correctly. I think this was from like a Toys R Us promotion. But basically it was just like a little reader with like a trans red screen on it. There are a couple of cards from the first run of Lego Bionicle cards in here, and a few behind them just to save on space. These cards were from a Lego Bionicle board game. I don't think they really have any card relevance, because if you look at each of them on the back, there's not a lot of stats or anything. It's just kind of an informational type of card, and that just fits back here. It's just nice to have in there with the other cards. Some more cards in here. The next wave is the Lego Bionicle cards from McDonald's. In the Happy Meal toys, they had these small mystery packs. And it was for the series of Borak Awake, I believe. Yep, the Borak Awake, shown on the back of that card. And basically, these cards were compatible with another Borak series from 2002 of trading cards. So those are cool to collect again. I don't know if I'm going to go get other ones, but it's nice to find them every now and then. Next series is the Lego Orient Expedition cards. These worked with board games that went with a lot of the larger sets. I have most of the cards that were from the smaller sets, and maybe a few here and there are just not in the book currently. Now, pretty much for the rest of the book, we're going to be looking at Pokemon trading cards. I've tried to organize these a couple different times, and I think I finally found a method that works. So these are, you know, ones from all the way back in 2001 to the present. A lot of the ones back then I collected and traded with people, so these were fun to pick up. We start off with some of the trainer cards, and there are a bunch of cards that I have in here, not just one of copies, but sometimes multiple copies of them that are just tucked beneath the cards in the back, so you don't really see them on the outside. But lots of different trainer cards in here that work with the game, at least at the time. I don't know what's relevant, you know, what's banned from the game currently, but still nice to collect them. Next up, we have the energy cards. I did get, back in the time I was collecting these cards, I did get a lot of water ones because I had a Team Aqua deck. And there are also some for other elements. Not really many for the newer ones. I think this is probably the newest one that I have, and maybe just a redesign of the fire ones. Did have a bunch of older fire ones too. This next section has Generation 1 entirely, except for one Pokemon. All 150 or 151 of them, except for Tentacruel. So that's the only one you'll be seeing, or you won't be seeing in this book for right now. I have to give a big thank you to the Ultimate Unboxer on YouTube, because he had a trade with me. I traded him some Lego sets, and he traded me a lot of these cards. I did have some of the cards from the time that, you know, this series was made, but it was nice to fill in the gaps for all the other cards I was missing. It's really just a collector kind of thing, not really like, I don't really play the game anymore, but they do have really nice artwork. Even a lot of the Pokemon have multiple pieces of artwork to them. I mean, there are countless Pikachu ones. You could probably make a deck just out of Pikachus. But they are fantastic looking cards, and they do have some nice abilities on them, and they're just nice for display. I do have like 2 sets of Articunos, Zapdos, and Moltres. There were a couple of Mewtwo's and a couple of Mews. So then after this point, we have Generation 3, which was probably my next favorite of generations of Pokemon. I know a lot of people didn't quite like that one, but I was a fan of it. It was kind of the real deal for me as far as starting playing Pokemon on like a mobile handheld game. Because my brother had the yellow version, but I didn't really get to play it until after he completed the entire thing. So I really got to play mine later on when Ruby and Sapphire came out. So there are a lot of ones missing in Generation 3. I would like to get more of them in the future. I haven't really decided which ones I would get yet, but it'll be nice to pick up more of them. Would I complete all of them? Probably not. There were 1 or 2 of these that I got with VHS tapes from that time with like some of the Pokemon specials. Next series is the Generation 2, I believe. Yeah, Generation 2. I did have a bunch of these, some of them mixed in with other, you know, series and generations. So they were pretty cool to collect. I am not trying to get all the unknown, just, you know, gonna leave it where it is because they're practically the same thing. A lot of these I like too, but there weren't a lot of them that I collected and probably won't collect later on. There was this one that was also from Pokemon Forever, which actually does have the printing on there. There are a couple of Japanese ones. I remember getting these from Nintendo Power, but I don't really know why they were Japanese, especially since it was, you know, an American magazine. But it does have the e-card reader from the Game Boy on there. Then after that, it's just some other generations that I'm not really familiar with, but they were in packs of cards I picked up more recently, and, well, that's just how they go. And after that, pretty much an empty book. I have a lot of pages to fill up with either more Pokemon cards or the next series of cards I definitely want to get into putting into this book, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I did have some of these in some of the pages before, but since I had to revise it a couple times for organizing the cards, I took these out. There are only a couple in here that I really have to show on video. These are mostly just the fusions and only a couple of other ones. I did recently pick up the Yu-Gi-Oh deck box from Kmart, so I'll probably add those in at some point. I don't really know how I'm going to organize those either. I'll probably do something like, you know, do all the fusions, do all the rituals, do all the magic cards, and then the trap cards, and then do all the regular figures, or not figures, characters. Maybe do it by level type, you know, like the little stars that are on top of them. But there's a whole bunch in here, and I did collect Yu-Gi-Oh for a while until they had the dungeon dice thing. I forget exactly what it was called, but I remembered it being a thing I was not really into. And so yeah, I'm not really going to collect more of those cards because they, you know, again, they just look cool, but I'm not really planning on having a full collection of them. So that's all that we have for today with this card collector book. As I mentioned before, I do have LEGO Ninjago cards and LEGO Chima cards, and probably a few others, but they're in a separate binder. The smaller binder that I had, because it was a cheap binder that I got, and it even had a Ninjago theme on it, so I thought, hey, I just throw it in there. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time with more videos. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the card collections I have. Do you collect any of these cards? And if you'd like to learn more about them, I'd be happy to do separate videos about the card games themselves. We'll see you next time with more videos.